Welcome, rare gems. You were born to be real, not to be perfect. Sigma females, this one's for you. You may have spent your life feeling out of place, like you don't quite fit the mold that society has made for women. You might have questioned your worth, doubted your path, or even tried to shrink yourself to make others more comfortable. But here's the truth. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. You were meant to challenge, to inspire, and to transform. The world doesn't always know how to handle someone like you. It doesn't understand the quiet power you carry, the wisdom that comes from deep within, or the way you can shift the energy of an entire room without saying a word. And because of that, you might have felt like an outsider, like you're different. But that difference isn't a flaw, it's your gift. It's time to embrace who you truly are. Sigma females are angels in disguise, bringing light, strength, and healing wherever they go. But too often, they forget their own power. They question their worth, their uniqueness, and their impact. In this video, I'm going to help you see the truth. You are an angel, not because you need to be perfect, but because you are exactly what the world needs. So watch the video, and let's remind you just how extraordinary you truly are. It's time to step into your divine power. Let's get started. The rare gems. Number 1. They heal, but they don't babysit. Sigma females are natural healers, not because they're trying to be, but because their presence alone speaks to something deep in people. They're the type you can sit in silence with and still feel understood. They have a calming energy, a quiet strength, and a way of listening that makes people feel seen without judgment. But here's the part most people don't understand. They're not emotional crutches. They don't exist to carry other people's mess. They'll offer you wisdom, reflection, even a safe space. But if you refuse to grow, they will walk away. And they'll do it without guilt. That's not cold, that's clarity. See, Sigma females have likely pulled themselves out of dark places. They've healed silently, cried behind closed doors, and rebuilt themselves without applause. So they know the power of choice. And because they respect their own path so deeply, they won't enable anyone who's choosing to stay stuck. They're not the friend who'll co-sign your excuses. They won't sugarcoat truth to make you feel better in the moment. And if that offends you, they'll let you be offended. They won't beg to be understood. Why? Because they understand something most don't. True healing doesn't come from being rescued, it comes from being called higher. Sigma females will stand with you in the valley, but only if you're trying to rise. If you're not, they'll leave you there. Not out of bitterness, but because their energy is sacred. And sacred energy doesn't babysit self-destruction. That's not cruelty. That's a divine boundary. So, if a Sigma woman shows up for you, count it as a gift. But don't mistake her kindness for obligation. She'll offer you light, but you have to walk toward it. And if you don't, she'll keep moving, still glowing, still grounded, but no longer holding your weight. Number 2. They carry ancient souls. There's a quiet depth to Sigma females that often leaves people wondering, how can someone so young possess such wisdom? It's as if they've lived 1,000 lifetimes, seen the rise and fall of empires, and carried the weight of the world's truths without even trying. Their words are carefully chosen, and when they speak, it feels as if every sentence holds a lesson. They're questions. They don't ask what's obvious. They ask the things that cut to the heart of existence, the things that make people stop and think. They don't ask questions to fill space. They ask to awaken something in you, something hidden, something forgotten. Their curiosity isn't for answers. It's for understanding the deeper layers of life that most people overlook. When they question something, it feels almost prophetic, like they're seeing patterns that others can't yet perceive. It's as if their soul has already walked down paths that others are just beginning to explore. And don't get them started on their dreams. They're not just random thoughts or fleeting fantasies. For Sigma females, dreams are messages, coded symbols that carry meanings beyond the conscious mind. It's like they're tapping into a source of ancient knowledge, pulling from something deeper than the present moment, something connected to the very fabric of the universe. That's why Sigma women often feel out of place. This world, with all its noise and chaos, doesn't match the rhythm of their soul. They don't belong to this era. They feel like visitors, timeless beings in a time that doesn't understand them. The trends, the hustle, the rush, it all feels superficial, fleeting, even foreign to them. But here's the thing. They aren't lost. They're ahead. They're not behind the times. They're beyond them. And while the world may not fully grasp them now, there's a quiet power in knowing that their wisdom will, one day, be seen for what it truly is, ancient, ageless, and deeply, profoundly necessary. Number 3. They walk between worlds. Sigma females have this rare, almost magical ability to exist in two realms at once. On one hand, they are grounded, firmly planted in reality, with an unwavering focus on what's practical, logical, and tangible. They have a way of navigating life that's sharp, calculated, and highly effective. Whether it's making career decisions or managing their daily tasks, they can handle the mundane with laser precision. But on the other hand, there's something about them that feels otherworldly. There's an ethereal quality to their energy, something cosmic that can't be easily defined. It's like they carry a quiet, unspoken wisdom that transcends the present moment. They seem to have access to an inner knowing, a deeper connection to something larger than themselves, whether it's intuition, spirituality, or just an innate sense of what's right. This duality is where their power lies. They effortlessly balance the physical and the metaphysical, the practical and the mystical. They can dive into deep intellectual discussions one moment, and the next, they can feel the energy of a room or tap into a gut instinct that guides them in ways words can't. It's like they understand both the how and the why of life, not just the what. This is what makes Sigma females so intriguing. They walk between worlds, moving with ease through both the seen and the unseen. They live in the now, but also sense the potential of what could be, and somehow they make it all look seamless, as if this balance of logic and intuition, reality and dreams, is the most natural thing in the world. That's angelic duality in motion. They are both grounded and cosmic, human and divine, effortlessly blending the two without ever missing a beat. And it's this ability to exist in two realms that makes them extraordinary, because they're not bound by one, they've mastered both. Number 4. They're mirrors of the divine, but they forget it. Here's the real heartbreak behind many Sigma females. They're powerful, intuitive, wise beyond their years, and yet they doubt themselves constantly. They move through life feeling like they're somehow too much or not enough. Why? Because the world hasn't taught them to see themselves clearly. These women are mirrors of the divine. They carry a presence that feels ancient, a wisdom that wasn't taught, it was remembered. Their energy comforts, challenges, awakens. They don't follow the rules because their soul writes them. They don't belong in boxes because they were born to break them. And yet, despite all this, they question their worth. They suffer from imposter syndrome, even when they are the smartest in the room. They second-guess their path, even when it's exactly the one they were meant to walk. And it's not because they lack confidence. It's because they don't realize they're not the anomaly. They're the blueprint. You see, Sigma females are wired differently for a reason. They were never meant to blend in. They're here to remind the world what alignment looks like. They hold the energy of something bigger, call it divine, angelic, sacred, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it's real. But the world rarely reflects that back to them. Instead, it tells them they're cold, hard to love, too deep, too distant. So they dim, they shrink. They wonder if maybe something's wrong with them. Let this be the reminder they need. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are a mirror of the divine, and your only mistake is forgetting that. So stop asking for permission to shine. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your light. You are the standard. You are the blueprint, and the world is lucky to witness it. Number 5. They don't follow paths. They forge them. Sigma females don't follow maps. They create them. From a young age, they've felt out of sync with the world's idea of success. They watch others follow step-by-step plans, go to school, get the job, get married, settle down, and something in them just doesn't click. It's not that they're rebellious or lost. It's that their soul refuses to be put on autopilot. Sigma females are not interested in living someone else's version of life. They don't chase trends. They don't imitate what's popular, and they certainly don't copy what worked for someone else. That's not how they're built. Their life is a blank page, and they're not waiting for permission to fill it. They don't want cookie-cutter careers or relationships that just look good on paper. They want something real, something aligned, something that feels like them. And because of that, they often take longer to figure things out. They try, they fail, they disappear, they reinvent over and over. But what they never do is settle. It can be lonely. It can be misunderstood. People will question their choices, their timing, their path. But what outsiders call confusion is actually creation. They're not lost. They're building something that's never existed before. There's no influencer to copy, no template to follow, because they are the blueprint. Every decision they make is based on internal truth, not external noise. And that's rare, that's powerful. That's why their life ends up being something others admire, but could never replicate. Sigma females don't follow paths. They walk into the unknown and leave a trail behind them. And that's not rebellion, that's destiny. That's what happens when you're born to write, not repeat. Number 6, they unconsciously awaken others. There's a unique power in being unapologetically yourself. Sigma females embody this power without even trying. Just by existing, they make people feel something they can't quite explain. It's not about what they say or do, but about who they are. Their very presence has a way of shifting the room, making everyone take a closer look at their own lives, their own choices, their own beliefs. They don't preach, they don't force change, and they sure as hell don't try to be anyone else. But because they're so authentic, so grounded in their own truth, they become a mirror that shows people what's real. And when people are faced with their reflection, they have two choices: ignore it or face it. And that's where the magic happens. Even the most resistant, stuck, or closed-off person finds themselves questioning something they never considered before. They'll start asking themselves, why am I staying in a job I hate? Why am I settling for less than what I deserve? Why do I keep pretending to be something I'm not? Sigma females don't need to preach transformation. They trigger it. Just by being themselves, they create the space for others to confront their own limitations, their fears, their walls. And sometimes that's all it takes. The reminder that there's another way to live, a freer, more authentic way. It's not intentional, it's not a performance, it's just who they are. But for those around them, that authenticity is like a spark. It ignites something deep inside. It forces people to wake up even when they don't want to. And that's the real power of a Sigma female. She doesn't need to convince anyone. She simply is. And in her being, she unknowingly opens doors to transformation. Number 7, they intimidate without speaking. You've seen it happen. A Sigma female walks into a room and everything shifts, just a little. People glance up. Conversations slow down. Some are curious, some are uncomfortable. No one can quite explain it, but everyone feels it. She hasn't said a word. She's not loud. She's not even trying to get attention. And yet, she has it. All of it. Why? Because her energy speaks before she does. That's not attitude. That's not arrogance. That's presence. Sigma females carry a calm, self-contained power. They don't perform. They don't need approval. And that alone rattles people. In a world where most are constantly broadcasting who they are, she's quiet. Still. Untouched by the need to impress. That stillness? It's not emptiness, it's spiritual gravity. And people feel it. It's not that she thinks she's better. It's that she's already done the inner work most people avoid. She knows who she is. She doesn't shrink, she doesn't chase, and she doesn't pretend. That level of authenticity is rare, and it makes people nervous, because it exposes everything that isn't real in them. Some might call her cold. Others will swear she's judging them, even if she hasn't looked their way. But it's not judgment. It's mirror energy. Her presence forces you to see yourself. And if you're not ready for that, yeah, she'll feel like a threat. But she's not. She's just honest, rooted, unapologetically herself. That's not personality. That's power. That's not intimidation. That's alignment. So if you've ever been told you're too much, too intense, or unapproachable, let this be a reminder. You're not the problem. Your energy just speaks a language that only the secure can understand. And that's not something you should ever dim. That's your gift. Number 8. They feel emotions that aren't theirs. Ever walked into a room and instantly felt heavy, anxious, or off without knowing why? One minute you're fine, the next you feel like you've been hit by a wave of energy that doesn't even belong to you. That's not mood swings, that's not being too sensitive. That's empathic tuning. And Sigma females experience this all the time. It's not that they're dramatic or emotionally unstable. It's the opposite. They're deeply in tune. They pick up on what most people miss, the tension behind someone's smile, the grief hidden in silence, the jealousy no one admits. They don't need anyone to say a word. They feel it. This isn't something they chose. It's something they carry. Like emotional antennas always scanning the environment. Crowded spaces, draining, superficial conversations, exhausting, conflict, even if it's not directed at them, it still lingers in their chest. That's not weakness. It's a rare form of awareness, a gift that comes with a cost. Because when you absorb everyone else's emotions, it's easy to forget which ones are actually yours. That's the silent struggle Sigma females often face. They feel deeply, but not always for themselves. They feel for others, through others, because of others. That's angelic wiring, an emotional radar that was never meant to fit into a logical world. But this sensitivity is also their power. It's why people trust them. It's why their advice hits different. It's why their presence alone can calm chaos without saying a word. Still, it's heavy, and Sigma females must protect their energy or risk emotional burnout. Learning to tell the difference between mine and not mine becomes a sacred skill. So if you've ever felt like you're carrying emotions that came out of nowhere, you're not crazy. You're just connected. More than most. That's not a flaw. That's a sign. You're built to feel what others can't handle, and that's something rare. Number 9. They can't be possessed, only partnered with. Sigma females are not here to be owned. They are not someone's possession, not an accessory to another person's identity. They cannot be tamed, chained, or controlled. And that's where most people get it wrong. They mistake her sacred independence for arrogance or detachment. But in reality, it's the purest form of freedom. She is the kind of woman who chooses her path, chooses her relationships, and chooses the people she keeps in her circle. She isn't driven by need or dependency. She's driven by alignment. If she decides to be with you, it's because she sees something real, something meaningful. But understand this, she doesn't need you to complete her. She is already whole. She's not seeking validation, she's seeking connection. She's not looking for someone to rescue her, she's looking for someone who can walk beside her. That's the difference between a Sigma female and the rest. She won't bend to someone's will. She won't be shaped by anyone's expectations. She can't be possessed, owned, or trapped by affection or promises. Her independence is sacred, and she doesn't compromise it for anyone or anything. When she chooses you, it's a partnership, not a submission. It's an agreement between two independent souls who see each other as equals, not as one needing the other to feel validated or complete. If she says yes to you, it's because you add something to her life, not because she's seeking someone to complete her. That's not ego, it's strength, it's clarity. It's the kind of partnership where both individuals grow, evolve, and contribute to each other's lives, without losing themselves in the process. So if you're lucky enough to be chosen by a Sigma female, remember, you're not her world, you're in it, and she is in yours. But neither of you owns the other. You simply walk together, and that in itself is sacred. Number 10. They see past words and straight into intentions. If you've ever tried to pull the wool over a Sigma female's eyes, you already know. You won't get far. She might smile, nod, and even engage in conversation. But behind those quiet eyes is a mind that has already decoded your intentions. The words you say might sound convincing, but to her, they're just surface-level noise. She's already felt the energy beneath them. It's not some psychology trick or clever manipulation. It's a kind of divine pattern recognition, a skill that seems almost otherworldly. While most people only hear what's said, Sigma women listen to what's unsaid, picking up on subtle shifts in tone, body language, and energy. She notices the contradictions in your story, the nervous energy you try to hide, and the things you don't mention but should. You may think your mask is flawless, that you've got everything under control, but the Sigma female can see right through it. She doesn't need to dig deep or ask 1,000 questions. It's like a knowing, an instinct that taps into your true motives. It's almost as if she can feel the hidden agenda beneath your words, like she's reading your soul rather than listening to your speech. This is not about being judgmental or harsh. It's about clarity, a deeper understanding of human nature. Sigma females have a gift for seeing what others can't. They don't get caught up in surface-level exchanges. They know that people often speak to cover up their true feelings, fears, or desires, and they can sense it before anyone else does. If you're honest, she'll see it. If you're manipulative, she'll catch it before you finish your sentence. She doesn't need to confront you, she just knows. And that's the beauty of being a Sigma female. Words don't matter, intentions do, and she can read yours from a mile away. Number 11. They don't tolerate chaos, but they don't flee from it either. Sigma females have an incredible way of handling chaos that most people don't understand. They don't welcome drama, and they definitely don't create it. But when it shows up, they don't run. They don't panic, collapse, or cause more noise. Instead, they step into the storm with a kind of calm that almost feels unreal. It's not because they want to play savior. It's not about being the strong woman everyone leans on. They're not trying to prove anything. They just are that calm, that solid, that steady, because they've been through their own storms silently. They've faced inner chaos, heartbreak, isolation, and deep emotional wounds that never made it to Instagram stories or group chats. So now, when the world around them burns, they don't flinch. They observe. They listen. And if they speak, it's with precision, not noise. Their energy is quiet, but commanding. Without yelling, without posturing, they stabilize. People feel safer in their presence, even if they don't know why. That's not maturity or learned behavior. That's angel energy. Sigma females won't tolerate people who live in chaos as a lifestyle, those who create mess and expect others to clean it up. They have no interest in enabling dysfunction. But they also don't abandon people who are genuinely struggling. They'll walk into the emotional wildfire if there's a purpose, if there's light worth protecting, if someone is trying to rise. This isn't feminine politeness. This isn't about being the nice girl. This is what happens when a woman knows who she is, trusts her spirit, and carries a calm rooted in something deeper than the moment. She doesn't need attention. She is presence. She doesn't need control. She is order. And when chaos shows up, she doesn't run. She meets it and makes it feel small. In conclusion, embrace your divine power. If you've made it this far, you've seen the truth. Sigma females are not just women. They are forces of nature, uniquely designed to illuminate, challenge, and transform. They carry a strength and wisdom that cannot be explained away by ordinary standards. They don't fit into the molds society creates. They break them. They walk between worlds, balancing the tangible and the spiritual with a grace that's hard to put into words. But the real tragedy is that so many of them still don't see it. They doubt their own brilliance, their own sacred power. They hide their light because the world doesn't always know how to handle it. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone's permission to shine. Sigma females are not here to blend in, to play it small, or to be easily understood. They are here to wake up the world, to force others to confront their truths, and to remind people that there's a higher way of living. They are angels in human form, carrying ancient wisdom, untamed energy, and an unshakable independence that the world needs, whether it knows it or not. So it's time to stop questioning your worth. You don't have to be like anyone else. You were never meant to. Your power isn't in fitting in. It's in standing out unapologetically, fully embracing who you are. Your authenticity, your depth, your presence, they are gifts, not burdens. Accept that you are an angel, not because you need validation, but because the world needs you. You're not the anomaly, you're the blueprint. And it's time to start living like you know it. Embrace your divine power, step into your full potential, and remember, you were never meant to be understood by everyone, just the right ones. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.